I don't know about you, but how about we give more authority, more power, and more influence to the party that is trying to save your money and send the fraudsters to prison?
Vice President J.D. Vance in Milwaukee Wednesday touting the Trump administration's nationwide fraud crackdown while quickly looking ahead to the midterms. The crowd also hearing from Wisconsin's Republican delegation, including Assembly Majority Leader Tyler August.
We have a government in Madison right now that decided to hire a company that was already being scrutinized for their handling of medical assistance programs in other states and has now got a DOJ lawsuit against them.
2 weeks ago, we reported on those concerns from Republicans and Democrats across the country. The State Department of Health Services is making changes to Wisconsin's Medicaid-funded long-term care program called IRIS. The state is planning to switch to one vendor, Public Partnerships, LLC. The Justice Department, though, is now suing the company and has faced immense scrutiny for its rollout in New York.
And just last week, the co-chairs of the state's Audit Committee sent this letter to DHS, now requesting documents and responses to a list of questions about the change. Republican State Representative Bob Wittke is one of those co-chairs. He joins us now. Representative, good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Let's back up just for a quick second. Walk me through the broad concern here and what you're looking for from DHS.
So you have to understand, as co-chair of the Audit Committee, we get together with the state auditor and we start to take a look at things that we should have oversight over. Once this lawsuit came up, we got very concerned, mainly because we're concerned with the people it serves. So we have started to ask questions about the process, ask questions about where they are, how they're doing. You've got 3 vendors that are protesting their actual giving out of a contract. Yeah. And so it catches our eye.
You've asked a number of questions, and you asked for a response from DHS by this past Wednesday. Have they answered all of your questions?
Well, I have the letter right here. And yes, if you go through, you can see I've gotten responses to everything. But like, for example, what specific monitoring steps will DHS perform in oversight of the contract with PPL? What specifically are the performance metrics for PPL? That's something that everybody should be concerned with. No contract has been executed. We're currently in the protest stage. No finalization of the protest has occurred. We are still under review. That's basically a lot of the content we've gotten for responses.
So what have you learned from DHS, and why aren't those responses sufficient?
Basically a letter response. The only thing I can say is that they may have put the brakes on a little bit based on some of the outside things that they see with lawsuits in New York and people going, the protests they've got from the rest of the vendors. As far as, if I go into one of the letters, I think one of the things that they talk about is the fact that they don't believe that the process was delivered appropriately by whatever manual the DHS is using. So have we learned why they've gone to this? The biggest question that we have wanted to ascertain is why go to a single payer? There's nothing in this document that we've received by the 8th that tells us why. I mean, that should be outside of the RFP proposal. It should be, you should be able to answer quite clearly why you believe that's best.
As we sit here today, in your mind, what is the broad goal? Is it to reverse this initial decision for PPL, or what would you like to see happen?
So I've thought about that, and one of the things that I would like to see is the brakes put on, no contract executed, questions answered, and then go through, if you have to, and redo the process that's more transparent to people and move forward that way.
You were at the vice president's event. You mentioned the governor's race.
Yeah.
Tom Tiffany has talked a lot about audits and fraud and looking at State Department if he was elected. How would that be different than what the Audit Committee currently does or the Audit Bureau in terms of what he's promising to do out on the campaign trail?
I don't know, because I've asked the question several times. My biggest thing would be is what the people of Wisconsin should understand is that the governor appoints the heads of these agencies. I haven't had a problem with the agencies when we do the audit. What we have had problems with is when the findings come up, getting them to do something. We've audited quite a bit. If somebody wants us to do more and will back us or work with us on legislation, I would welcome that. I haven't seen an exact plan, but I've talked to Tom, and I know he wants accountability. So maybe there are ways to work through this, but there are specific steps to work through the Audit Committee for it.
This is an important program impacting tens of thousands of Wisconsinites. State Representative Bob Wittke, we appreciate your time on this. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
You can watch our initial reporting and that warning from a New York State lawmaker right now on the 12 News YouTube page under the Upfront playlist. Up next, police funding and the candidates for governor. The police chief and the sheriff from the state's largest city and county are responding with us next.